making another video from the trail here. About a month ago, I followed a little user trail that a viewer of the channel mentioned to me and came up the side of the canyon here and then ran into what looked like an old road and followed it down. It doesn't look much like a road there, but then I got here and this was the clear proof that this was an old road. There's an old car here. Yeah, so it was about a month ago that I came up here, kind of took a few pictures of the car and shot the clips for the previous video, which I'll put a link to up here. Yeah, so about 2 weeks ago, I was hiking down this way and I happened to see a faint little trail that seemed to follow an old road bed that's down that way. I came up a little ways, and then last week I followed that trail up about a quarter of a mile, and I got to a junction where there were 2 or 3 forks of the trail, and it was starting to get dark. It was just before sunset, and I didn't want to be stuck up here in the dark, so I bailed out. But there was one trail that went up and to the right, so I had that track from last week that I recorded on Osmand. So I clicked on that track, and then you select the share function, and then it gives you a list of applications to share with. And so I picked Gaia GPS, and what that does, I think, is export a GPX file, and then it fires up Gaia and then imports that file. And then a month ago, like I said, I hiked up here. I didn't bring anything with me. I just had my camera and my Garmin watch. So I had recorded the track down to here on the Garmin watch. So I went into Garmin Connect. You can get into the activity, export a GPX file, and then go to the Gaia web page and then import that file. And I could see this track and the track from last week, and there looked like there was maybe 100 yards between the two endpoints. And I was thinking, I betcha that little trail from where I stopped goes up that way, and it turns out it comes out right here. I wanted to come back up here and take another look at this car, so let's go down and take a look at it. Okay, here we are down at the wrecked car. Took some photos and I did some image searches and could not find any online image search, at least through Google Lens. And I also put this up on my community tab, asked if anybody had any ideas what this car was, make, model, year, and I don't think I've had any answers yet or any comments with any guesses. I put out an earlier video where I showed you the clips I shot down here. So there's a couple of clues. One is that clue. The windshield is actually a clue. And another one here is the door handle. The last clue is the chrome on the grill there on the front. Yeah, if you want to pause the video here and have a guess at what this is, you can post up in the comment section below. And if there's any correct guesses from my previous video, I'll put those in an annotation here. So yeah, if you want to find out what the make, model, and year of this car is, stick around. Anyway, I took some pictures a month ago and figured, oh, Google Lens, with all their AI searching capability, should be able to identify this right off the bat. And what I did was took a photo of this, looks like an emblem down here, and figured, oh, they ought to find that. If I searched for the kind of the whole side of the fender there, it came up with all these Italian cars. I guess the script sort of threw it off or whatever. And then if I zoomed in real close, cropped the image just to the little bit of emblem there, all I got were these decorative letters, like you can buy these plastic or cast metal letters with chrome plating to make up custom signs or artwork, whatever. And if I backed up and did an image search on the whole car, all that it showed me was images of wrecked cars. And it's like, I know it's a wrecked car. Tell me what kind of wrecked car it is. So anyway, I gave up on the AI search, and I came back to this logo. Was looking at the photo, you could see there's a bullet hole right there, and there's actually a piece of a logo here. I'm not sure which way this one went, but this one you can see there's a rust mark over there. So I think this one was probably like that. You can see there's the rust. So it was probably that way, and the bullet that made that hole broke this off right there. So there was probably more text over there, including this. It looks like there's a screw or a rivet hole there. Anyway, when I first saw that, I thought that looked like something. It looked like, almost calligraphy. Just said, okay, go back to that. What do you see there? I see two letters on top of each other. There's a P and then an L. And the P and the L kind of share most of the same vertical. As soon as I came up with PL, it's like Plymouth for sure. It's Plymouth. Now, I've never seen a Plymouth logo that looks like that. But anyway, Plymouth, and then my initial guess when I saw this car a month ago, I was thinking early 1950s. It's got that look. It's not a 40s model, and it's not a late 50s or 60s model. It's like early 50s. So I forget what year I searched for. I think it was maybe 1952 Plymouth, and I found cars that looked like this. And the most unique thing that triggered it was this grille, solid chrome piece. It's not perforated, and then this kind of oval thing, I guess where the hood fastened down. I think this was probably the hood latch here. And anyway, that nailed it to a Plymouth Cranbrook. The same thing with the bumpers. The bumpers are kind of plain. They're not really fancy. And then it's got this trim piece. So that was unique to the Cranbrook. Had an inline 6, 171 cubic inch, 3.6 liter, flathead 6. And the Cranbrooks came in a 2-door coupe with either 3-speed manual or an automatic. So the Cranbrooks were made from 1951 to 1953. In 1953, they switched to a one-piece windshield. There isn't the center divider and two flat panes of glass. It's a one-piece curved windshield. And then the other thing is the door handles on the 51 and 52 rotated, but on the 53 they pulled out, and that's definitely a pull-out handle. So this is a 1953 Plymouth Cranbrook. So yeah, that's how I figured out what this was. It was missing the VIN tag. Somebody's grabbed that. That was over there, and I don't see any other emblems here. I think the hood might be down the hill there, but it's pretty well buried, and it's pretty steep down there. Two reasons for wanting to figure out what this was. Number one, just out of curiosity, I kind of like to be able to figure out what old cars are. This was before my time, but I remember when I was a kid, if we were driving, if my dad and my grandfather were in the car, if they saw any old car, they could tell you the full history of that car, just seeing it drive down the road. They knew every make and model, and they could tell you the exact year, and just off the top of their head. I mean, I had to spend about a week searching on the internet to figure this out, but I did, so that's cool. The other reason is that puts a date on when this road was in use. So this, like I said, is a 1953. Now, if somebody had a brand new 1953 car, it was maybe a couple years old, and it ran off the road, they would probably hire somebody with a wrecker to come out here and get it back. Either insurance, recovery, or somebody would have paid money to get this out of here. So it was probably 15, 20 years old. It was some kids' junker, and they were up here on a weekend drinking beer or whatever, driving around on some of these roads. So maybe late 60s, early 70s, and ran off the road on a Saturday night, and maybe they tried to pull it out and couldn't get it, and then just said, okay, let's just hitchhike home and pretend it never happened, which that kind of looks like what happened here. But that basically says this road up here that this car was on was probably still drivable back in late 60s, early 70s, and in the mid to late 70s is when the open space district started acquiring a lot of the parcels of land up here. But it was around that time, and that would tie in with the date of this car. Okay, I decided to come down here a little bit farther. There's a little foot trail, kind of goes around the side, and that's probably like the rear seat there. And then here's the hood. There's what's left of the hood ornament. There's kind of a thing sticking back there, and kind of a rib sticking up there. Probably came down here, and then they might have had something in there. But yeah, it's all been broken up. So yeah, there's some of the hood ornament. I'll see if I can match that up with any of the photos online. I guess that was worth coming down. I thought that might be the hood down here, and sure enough, yeah, somebody just broke this all. It's all beat up. They were probably trying to hammer on it to get it off, and then they just broke it in at least 3 pieces. So yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed that. And as always, thanks for watching.